Hey everyone, before we dive in, if you haven't already, please hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you never miss a new story. It really means the world to me. Now, let's get started. My family missed the most important day of my life. Not a birthday, not a job promotion, my wedding. For empty seats sat right in the front row. The ones I'd saved just for them, staring at me like an accusation while I stood at the altar. I kept glancing at my phone the whole night, hoping for one text, one excuse, one single word. Nothing. Complete silence. Then, exactly 1 week later, when the news broke that my boutique hotel brand had just crossed $1 billion valuation, my phone finally buzzed. It was my dad. Family dinner tonight, 7 p.m. We need to talk. Important. That's when it finally clicked. They didn't want to celebrate me. They wanted to collect from me. So I walked into that dinner carrying the one thing they never saw coming. Hi, I'm Lily. For most of my life, I honestly believed that if I just stayed loyal enough, my family would finally feel like home. I clung to that idea, even when every single clue screamed the opposite. Growing up in Madison, our house looked perfectly normal from the outside. Peeling paint on the porch swing, oil stains on the driveway, the sweet smell of Mom's lemon floor polish drifting through the screen door. But inside, everything spun around my father's obsession with legacy. William owned a handful of rundown motels. He treated like castles. He talked about those buildings the way other dads talk about their kids. I used to think that was passion. Turns out it was possession. He didn't love people. He loved being in charge of them. And he trained the whole family to revolve around him like planets afraid to drift off course. My mom, Clara, was the feelings police. She never yelled. She just cried on cue. Your dad's under a lot of pressure, she'd whisper. Don't upset him. Just be grateful. After a while, you stop asking why gratitude always has to be quiet. My older brother Ethan copied Dad's whole attitude. He truly believed the only thing that mattered was owning land. Hotels are a fad, he told me the day I signed the lease on my first property. All hype and pretty pictures. Real estate doesn't need a logo. He said it while leaning against one of Dad's motels with a neon vacancy sign flickering like it was on life support. Then there was my little 28 little brother Noah, who drifted through life like gravity didn't apply to him. He called himself a content creator, even though he couldn't keep a part-time job more than 10 days. Yet somehow he always had strong opinions about how I should run my company. Opinions that magically ended with me paying for something. That's probably why, whenever I went home, I dressed like I was invisible. Plain cardigans, no makeup, only the tiny gold ring my husband gave me back when we were just dating. I didn't want the lectures about getting too big for my britches, or the casual hints that I could help out with a few bills. What they never saw were the years I slept in my car because rent wasn't an option. The nights I learned how to snake a toilet at 3 a.m., or sweet talk a contractor who didn't think a 20-something woman belonged on his job site. The terror that one slow month could wipe me out completely. Dad just waved it all away. Too trendy, too online. Real businesses own dirt. But the moment that finally shut something off inside me was my wedding day. I had begged them just once to show up as family, not critics, not creditors. Just family. When they never walked in, something in me didn't break. It just went still. Done. Still. A tiny part of me kept waiting for them to surprise me, to prove they actually cared. So when Dad's text came the day the valuation hit every headline, I stared at it way too long. Family dinner. 7 p.m. important discussion. Maybe, I thought, this time they want to say sorry. The second I stepped into that country club dining room, I knew exactly what they wanted. That morning I'd been in my office downtown, sunlight pouring over blueprints for our next location, when my assistant Sophie ran in without knocking, something she never does. Lily, look. She shoved her tablet at me. There it was in giant letters across every business site. Boutique Hotel Group crosses $1 billion in valuation. I wasn't shocked by the number. I'd watched it climb for months, but seeing the whole world react stole my breath. My team poured in, cheering, hugging, popping sparkling cider Sophie had hidden in the fridge for the day you finally let yourself feel it. I laughed, but it felt weird. Joy and grief can live in the same heart without ever saying hello to each other. My phone blew up. Investors, reporters, even an old manager who once told me I smiled too much to be taken seriously. But nothing from my parents. Not one text. I told myself it didn't matter. It still hurt. By evening, the office was quiet again. I stayed late watching the city lights blink on. Then my phone buzzed. Dad's name. No, congratulations. No, sorry we missed your wedding. Just family dinner. 7 p.m. important. Sophie saw my face. They're back, she said quietly. I showed her the text. She sighed. They don't schedule important discussions out of love. I already knew she was right. I just didn't know how right. I typed back, I'll be there, and felt something brand new settle over me. Peace, maybe, or power. That night I went home and dug through boxes in the garage until I found the old folders labeled First Loans. Pages of red numbers, sleepless nights, risks that could have ruined me. If I survived that, I could survive one dinner. Sophie called right as I walked inside. I did some quiet digging on your dad's motels. My stomach dropped. How bad? Catastrophic. Missed payments, furious vendors, one lender ready to seize everything. They're not asking for help, Lily. They need a rescue. Cold, clear anger slid through me. Not screaming, just decisive. What are you thinking? Sophie asked. I'm thinking, I said. Let's buy the debt before they even ask. By the next afternoon, we owned every dime they owed, quietly, legally, through a holding company they'd never trace back to me in time. That evening, I didn't put on my usual don't intimidate them outfit. I wore a sharp black blazer, silk camisole, hair back, understated but impossible to ignore. Sophie handed me a slim leather folder. Everything you need, including termination clauses, if it comes to that. You sure this isn't cruel? I asked. You're not punishing them, she said. You're just refusing to drown with them. I walked into that country club carrying clarity instead of cash. The private dining room smelled like steak and desperation. Dad sat at the head like a king on a sinking throne. Mom gave me watery eyes. Ethan smirked. Noah raised his iced tea in a mock toast. Even Uncle Richard was there, the family vulture who only shows up when there's a carcass. Dad didn't bother with hello. Sit. We need to talk. I stayed standing. Funny. That's exactly why I'm here. Mom clutched her necklace. Lily, please, not that tone. This is a family dinner. I took my seat slowly, set my bag down, and felt their hunger fill the room. Dad launched in. The motels have hit a temporary rough patch. Nothing a cash infusion can't fix. Ethan jumped in. We hear your little hotel thing is doing great. Probably overvalued, but still liquid. You can carry the family for a bit. For the legacy. Mom dabbed her eyes. We were mortified learning about your success from strangers. Why didn't you tell us? I let the silence sit there like a third guest. Noah leaned forward. Let's not do drama. We're here now. Just help us out. I reached into my bag. For pairs of eyes locked on it like I was pulling out a blank check. Instead, I slid Sophie's folder across the table. Dad frowned. What is this? A reality check, I said. He flipped it open. The color left his face. Ethan snatched pages. Noah froze mid-sip. Mom gasped. Dad's voice cracked. This is acquisition paperwork. Every loan on those motels now belongs to me, I said calmly. As of 4:17 this afternoon. Legally. Cleanly. Done. Mom's hand flew to her mouth. Lily, how could you? How could I make sure your mess doesn't drag me under with it? Pretty easily, actually. Dad half stood, finger shaking. If you leave here without fixing this, you are no daughter of mine. The room went dead quiet. I stood too, slow, steady. You skipped my wedding. You ignored every milestone that didn't come with a price tag. You only call when you need a lifeline. I didn't walk away from this family. You did. I placed a single check on the table. 200,000. Enough to walk away clean. You have 30 days to vacate. After that, I renovate or I sell. Your choice. Ethan snatched the check like it burned him. You're stealing Dad's life's work. No, I said. The debt already did that. I'm just the one who gets to decide what happens next. Mom was crying now. We just wanted to talk. You wanted money, I said softly. You never wanted me. Dad's voice broke, the first time I'd ever heard it. Lily, please don't do this. I looked at him, really looked. A man who confused control with love. I already did. I picked up my bag. Sophie appeared in the doorway holding extra copies like a bodyguard made of paperwork. Any questions can go through our legal team, she said with a polite smile. I walked out while they shouted behind me, chairs scraping, voices cracking. None of it reached me. Outside, the night air felt brand new. My phone buzzed. Sophie, so proud of you. For the first time, I was proud of me too. I didn't lose a family that night. I finally found myself. The next month, we turned those tired old motels into peaceful wellness retreats, quiet courtyards, soft lighting, the opposite of the chaos they used to hold. My family never called, not once, and for the first time, their silence didn't hurt. It just proved I'd made the right choice. Walking away wasn't giving up. It was the moment I stopped letting their version of love shrink me. If you've ever had to close the door on people who only loved you when you were useful, you know exactly how light freedom feels. Thanks for watching, friends. See you in the next one.